Good afternoon, and welcome to this week's Believe Retreat Online. I'm Joanna Tress, and we're going to have a fabulous conversation today with my Believe sisters. Francine, go ahead and roll the intro. And here we are, everyone. It's Tuesday, March 18th at 4:31 p.m. Eastern Time. We don't have Heidi of Heidelin Coaching today. Hey, we got to take a break sometimes, but we do have Francine and our special guest, Beth Minette. And so, before we get into today's special topic about how to make social media fun, I just want to remind you of why we come here every Tuesday. This is episode number 22. We are building community by sharing with you great ideas of how to incorporate creativity into every aspect of our life, activating our imagination, artistic expression, and ways of communicating our unique message with the world are what we're all about. And so you can communicate with us in our online community at heidzelincoaching.com/believe retreat. You can see us every week online. And of course, this is wrapping up and rolling up into a fabulous in person event in Jacksonville, Florida this September. But without further ado, Believe Sister Francine, why don't you tell us about our guest today?
Beth has been here before, and if you haven't met her, she is the founder of Social Media with a Twist. And I'm just going to let Beth explain what Social Media with a Twist is all about. Beth, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Francine and Joanna. It's such a pleasure to be here with you ladies today. So, social media with a twist. I'll tell you how that came about. My husband and I owned a local business that my husband had started way back in 1975. And when social media came along, I fully embraced it. I just loved everything about it. We had a floor covering store, is what it was. And so I started doing videos on Facebook on how to get a stain out of your carpet or how to take care of your hardwood floor, in addition to showcasing products that we had. Then I began to see what would happen is our customers would come in the store. Now, keep in mind, they're looking at what could possibly be a high ticket item, especially if they're doing their whole house. But they would say to me, I feel like I already know you because I've been seeing you on video. I've seen all your videos. And those of us in business know we want people to get to know us, to like us, and to trust us. And then that's when they do business. So, what I found was the more that I did this and had people come in and say, "Hey, I feel like I already know you," then that really magnified or cut through the know like trust factor, the getting to know you, the dating, the courting, the all that, right? So I just then again, even though I love social media to begin with, I just really saw the benefits of it for local businesses. So I started just sharing that with my friends. And one day a friend of mine, we were in a networking group, and the question of the day was, what do you think of when you think of me? And this was kind of like my pivotal moment when somebody said, "Oh, you love social media. And by the way, you help your husband in his flooring business." Well, see, to me, I was the carpet girl. I was the face of the company. But when my friend said that, it just flipped everything for me. So then I began to help small businesses to learn how to scale their online presence because I could see the real importance with it. So, social media with a twist. What is the twist? Well, the twist is what I bring to social media. I've been told that the way I explain things, the way I have a natural kind of, I say I'm a millennial in a Gen X body.
I love that.
I just tend to intuitively know how some things work. So that's kind of my twist and my creativity, and I think outside the box. So that's kind of the twist. So that being said, it sounds like, gosh, you've really got your stuff together, Beth. You must be an expert. Well, I wanted to address something because I feel like in order to make it fun, we've got to cut through some obstacles before we can get to the part that is fun. And I've had to do this myself. And I struggle with it still periodically where I get into my head too much and I start to think about, oh, here's an idea I want to post, but what's so and so going to think, or what's, whatever. And so then I don't do it. And I lose the momentum of not only having viewers and being out there, but also the momentum of my creativity. So I
Ah,
wanted to address that. A lot of people talk about, they talk about how do I come up with content and what do I post? I love what Gary Vaynerchuk, y'all know who Gary Vaynerchuk is.
yeah.
Yes, I love his book, Crush It. He's got lots of other books, but he talks about documenting what you're doing versus just, we get up and say, oh, today I've got to create some content. It's like a job, it's like a task. I've got
Yeah.
to do this. If you just document what you're already doing, and, Joanna, we were talking before the show, and you mentioned being at an event. That's a great, you're documenting your experience at the event. And
Yes.
you may not have to use all those pictures that you take or whatever you may, the um, pictures or video, whatever that you acquire at that event. You could use it, a couple of weeks later, but still, you are collecting pictures and content that you can use later on. But you're documenting your experience. So I think
Yeah.
if we come at it with that aspect of just document what we're already doing. And I had an interesting discussion the other day about this. And one thing to help me, because sometimes I do have that little imposter syndrome or that thing that comes in and says, nobody cares about what you're doing. Nobody cares that you went to a networking meeting, or nobody cares that you went whatever. Well, you know what? This is just the way we communicate now. It's just
Mm.
the way we communicate. So, and it doesn't matter, if so and so, you don't think so and so cares, do it anyway, because that is the way that we share our lives, the way we stay connected with friends, family, prospects. We gain new prospects or customers. I have a customer from our floor covering days. I've run into her two times. Once at
Hmm.
Walmart, once at Sam's. I could not remember her name, but both times she hugged me, and I looked at her and I said, "Navy blue carpet, level loop with the cream thread in your master closet." That's how
Oh,
she was. And every time I see her, she hugs me. So I'm like, okay, please tell me your name so I remember from now on. But you know what? If I knew if she was on Facebook, I would connect with her. So
yes.
it's just taking what we do offline, our energy, our relationships, how we relate to other people, and bringing it online. Just doing the same thing.
Well,
Then it
I,
starts to be really fun. Go ahead, Francine.
okay, yeah, I want to share something. When I'm approached by someone who might want to sell me their coaching package, or someone who might want me to hire them as a virtual assistant, the first thing I do is check out their social media. Because if they don't have a social media presence, to me, chances are they're a fake. So
Ah,
you're not trying to win anyone over. You're trying to prove that you're a real human being.
That's true. I wonder sometimes because I do the same thing. I do the same thing, and then I look at when I get busy and I get behind and I haven't posted anything. I wonder the same thing. Are people looking at my stuff? But I wonder too if a little bit of that is it like the cobbler's children has no shoes. I don't
yeah. Right?
know, but I do think I do tend to agree with you, Francine. Not maybe not so much that is it a real person or not, but I do think there's so many ways you can schedule your content. There's so many ways you can do some of that. Some of that. If you're not managing your own, how are you going to manage mine? And I'm preaching to the choir here because that's something that,
That is, yeah.
you know, if I'm not doing it, I mean, why should you listen to me about how to create content, how to put yourself out there if I'm not even doing it, right?
Now
So,
that's you definitely have to do that.
mhm.
Now I had could I take something? I wasn't sure if you were going to start a fresh point or not,
No, go ahead.
but I wanted to ask you when it comes to that presence. Now, definitely, Beth, and Francine is an official content creator with now over 10,000 followers. Whoop whoop for that.
Follow
Okay.
me, follow me. I want to make it
And
to 11,000.
of course, and you, Beth, you are the subject matter expert. You are the person that helps us to have confidence to know that yes, we can share our message with others with social media, and people are paying you to help them manage and create content, even
Mhm.
just get their mind around it. So you definitely want to represent well, Beth, because we're looking at you as an example. But
Exactly.
then, for those who don't necessarily aspire to have regular content and engagement, people like me maybe use it as a reference point because I know that there are plenty of people on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, of course, Instagram, those big three, and of course, TikTok is up and rising, and let's say Twitter being the top five, right? And for me, I just want to be there so that if someone wants to learn about me, so that if you look at my page, you see, okay, I have this live stream, I have events that I go to, and once in a while, a little shout out, something positive, and then I do have a little family. My son and my daughter-in-law, they do great with the family thing stuff. So I was just saying, it's like a representation to learn who I am.
Mhm.
Is that viable or what? What would you say? Where can somebody go to improve if they view themselves their social media as just a background check type of thing?
Well, I would say that you want to post once every 10 days, especially if you are talking about on a business page.
Mhm.
Now, I would do it on your personal profile too. Facebook gives you a little leeway, like, okay, maybe they went on vacation and they didn't schedule anything or they didn't post anything. But then your momentum or whatever you're building, once you hit that 10-day mark and you haven't posted, you start all over again.
Ah,
And when we start, because I've been guilty of that. I get a really good track record going, start. Then they're like, Facebook's like, okay, is this a hobby? Is this a real
Hmm.
legitimate business? What's going on here? Because we're not, if you're just going to start, we're not going to push your content out into other people's feeds if you're not legitimate. So I would say that just be sure, I would say at least every 10 days. And I would say more often if you have the capacity to do that. As far as topics, because I was thinking about this when you're talking about family, I would say pick 3 to 5 what I call content buckets. So this could be on your personal profile. Some people might not want to share their children if they have little ones, or they may not want to share too much about their personal life or whatever it might be. What are your core values? What are your things that you love talking about? Well, I love to talk about business, or I love my church family, or I love to cook. I'm not I'm not going to talk about decorating because that's not my thing. But you pick these things that you are about, and then you talk about those. So that kind of helps you get started when people talk about, well, what kind of content should I post? And then it might help the overwhelm because it's like I've only got 3 buckets I'm dealing with, just versus, oh, do I have to post everything? No, you don't. It's not like, well, I start saying it's not like a diary, but some people do use it like a diary almost.
right. Yeah, we
So,
use social media for different purposes, and we hope that there's room for everyone.
mhm, yeah, I hope that helped. I hope that answered your question.
It did, because you're giving us guidelines, actionable steps, everyone. Hey, every 10 days, stay viable
Mhm,
and just pick 3 categories of content that you would like to share. And that helps us just to have some guidance. Because
mhm.
I went on a cruise. I've seen so many cruise pictures. Do you know I didn't? I did not post one cruise picture. I was fully present. My husband and I were on our fifth anniversary, sort of in our own little bubble. We had some amazing experiences and we took some pictures. I just did not feel like sharing it.
And that's okay. That's totally okay.
Well, that's lovely. So, Francine, as a digital creator, and there's our mascot. What's our mascot's
Oh, you
name?
see, there's Tater.
Tater.
I just commented about my dogs. They are part of my brand because right there in my book, I do a whole thing on playing like a dog. So as part of my brand, there's a reason for them to be on my Facebook page.
That is perfect. And so, I was just wondering, with you as a digital creator, what would you like to what things would you like to engage Beth about that might help aspiring digital creators, or just to help people make the decision whether they would like to make that commitment to provide that consistent content?
Well, the question I want to ask is when creating content, does it have to be something that is professionally created? Like, can you just go into Canva and plop in a picture with some fancy colors around it and call it a day? Or do you have to get a graphic designer to make you all these beautiful graphics? Can you just put a picture of your dog up and say, hey, we had fun in the park today?
That's a great question. I think it depends on it. It depends on the platform that you're on, like Facebook versus Instagram. I will say this across all platforms: the more authentic you are, the better. People want to see the real you, the behind the scenes. That's it. Stories is a great place if you're going to do some behind the scenes kind of thing. It used to be Instagram. The feed was very curated. You know, you had a brand, you had all the same, every post had the same colors, you had the same font, but it was too perfect. And so then they
Mm.
said, no, we don't want that. We want it messy. And you know, when I say messy, like authentic, you want it authentic. I think Facebook's the same way. If you have a video, like Francine, if you were live right now on your page and Tater walked in behind you, you're going to get more views because Tater's in the background. So it's just a proven thing. I just need to get a dog for that reason only.
Here you go. Hey, I'll let you borrow Daisy. She's in the chew up everything mode.
Oh no. So I would say, is it nice to have Canva? And oh my gosh, I love Canva and I love the things that you do, but not every single post has to be like that. I think I might would reserve event posts or posts where you're trying to attract people because you want them to sign up for something possibly. The colored backgrounds that Facebook provides for you, those do great. Those do great.
Okay.
So I yeah, and then there again, if you're in your analytics and you can look to see what's going on with each post, you can see which one performed better. Now you'll have to take into consideration what time of day was it posted. You know, so you have to do a little bit of testing there. So this post was just a plain text post, maybe, just words. And then this one was on a pink background or, whatever, a colored background. And then this one maybe whatever, just test it and see what your audience prefers. But there are times when I have heard like Facebook might like the colored background better. So it can change just depending on what the algorithm is doing. So
Well, oh, I'd like to add something here that's really important. If you get a lot of likes, a lot of comments, and a lot of shares, Facebook will show it to more people. And the more people they show it to who like, comment, and share, the more people they show it to. So if something
Mm.
isn't working right for you, test out the different colors, like Beth just said, because it may appeal to a whole different audience just by changing a color. Or I've even noticed taking a question out of that's just text and adding a picture to it.
mhm,
The picture attracted more eyes, more people liked it, more people commented, so Facebook showed it to more people.
mhm. Your goal is you want to get your engagement is key. It's great to have, like if somebody said to me back in the day, it used to be likes. Everything was about likes. Well, I've got, he who has the most likes wins. Well, it's not that way anymore. It's great to have followers, and congratulations again, Francine. That's awesome. It really is, especially if they're engaged. But I tell people all the time, you could have 10,000 people, but if only 100 are engaging, that's not so. Hopefully, you've got the majority of those 10,000, and I see your posts and I see what you're doing and I see that people are reacting. The benchmark is you put a post out, you want to have 50 engagements. That would be a total of your likes, your reactions, and then also any comments. And then what happens when Facebook sees that? Oh wow, something's going on here. Beth has 50 of her followers like this. Well, we're going to push it out to, it's kind of like you're in your inner circle. Okay, Beth's inner circle saw it. Now we're going to push it out here to one more ring. Okay, then they respond, and then they get, and then that's how it gets bigger and bigger, and it goes viral. So you're aiming for the 50 engagements. So
I'm so glad that you are sharing these numbers. Numbers really count. We have 10 days, within every 10 days, we have 3 to 5 content buckets so that you
mhm,
can be focused with what you share. Now we're hearing that the goal is to get 50 forms of engagement between reactions and comments,
mhm,
and that is what Facebook responds to. And I just call it the algorithms. The algorithms respond to that.
mhm,
And I just realized I experienced that. I put a picture of me and my husband, and just a picture, the people, everyone reacts, and then I can go, like, to 100. Because what happened is that the first 50 took me to one level, and then I easily got even more engaged because more people saw it. It popped up
mhm.
in more people's feeds. And when I do other things where I just post a little something that I want to share, I think it's interesting. FYI, people, hey, maybe this will lift up your day, be have a positive effect on someone. And I just get a handful of responses, even sharing the stream. So I definitely see the difference. I'm still in this phase of experimentation, as you mentioned, Beth.
Mhm.
Experiment, try different
Yes.
things, see the reaction. And if analytics matter, then that means we want to do more of what works.
Right. And I will say, when you're inviting people to follow you, be sure that they are your perfect people. A quick
Mm.
story, a friend of mine, and I tell this story, Francine's probably heard it a million times. A friend of mine was working on a page for preschool moms. That's the target audience, was preschool moms. And she was posting all these fun activities for kids for after school and whatever. Well, her husband's great aunt, who was an assisted living facility, they're on Facebook. That's a big growing demographic, is older, 60 and older. So she liked the page. And then she said, oh, we need to help out my great niece. So got all the little grandmas at the assisted living facility to like the page. So her numbers went up. She had lots of engagement. It was the wrong audience. So Facebook
Ah.
started putting it out, going, okay, well, but Facebook's kind of confused. You've got content about preschoolers and stuff for moms to do with preschoolers, but we got all these grandmas. So she had to
Oh.
go and tell, Aunt Sally, please don't invite anybody else. And she had to remove those people. And Aunt Sally did it again. So
Oh.
because she thought she was helping, but finally she got the message. But it's important that the people that are following you, they are your diehard fans. They're your ambassadors, your advocates. They'll sing your praises from the mountaintops, or you're inspiring them, you're educating them, you're adding value to their life. They love what you have to say. And they're going to share it because you want them to share it with their friends, because they tend to have friends who are of like mind, right? So
Yeah.
that's how it can spread. So you want to be aware of that it's fine to have all this engagement, but if they're not your perfect people, at the end of the day, if you have a product and your ROI, your return on your investment for your time,
Hmm.
and your creativity that you're creating this content, documenting this content, and posting it. If you're at the end of the day, if you're not converting that into a sale, if that's your intention, then it doesn't matter. You can have a million followers. If that's your intention, I have some really good friends who've grown a page, and it's about walking the Camino de Santiago, which is over in France and Spain. They have not
Hmm.
monetized their page, but they've probably got 30,000 followers, and it's
Wow.
a very busy page, very busy. But they're not monetizing it. It's just a community of people around this adventure. So
Now, are you able to, Beth? Do you, if a person is interested in monetizing, do you assist your clients with that?
I'm not doing anything right now as far as like ads or things like that. What I'm focused on right now is I'm kind of taking it in phases, like helping people get over that hump of, is it okay to put myself out there?
Hmm.
And coming up with a strategy and getting consistent. This is what we're going to talk about, or what you're going to talk about. This is how you're going to do it, and let's get consistent. Let's create the content, and helping them with the content strategy and getting it out there and growing the audience first, and then I'll move more into, I believe in doing as much organic as possible
Hmm.
before
Yeah.
like doing any paid ads. But I do know once you're more consistent and you are doing reels or you're posting consistently and they're getting ready to monetize stories, Francine, I don't know if you're aware of that, they're
I
going to
heard.
monetize stories. So the more you're putting your content in these places, then Facebook will reward you for that. So that's something they'll invite you to do once you are doing it on a very consistent basis.
Wonderful. Well, I just want to, for the last few minutes, make sure that people know that they can find you under Beth Minette and Social with a Twist. Is that you have a business page called
Yes,
Social with a Twist?
it
And
is
the
that
link's already in the comments.
Yes, yes. And also, we want people to know that the Believe Retreat community, we have a community outside of social media so that people from whatever their preferred social media is, they can engage with us, even if they're not, necessarily following us there. And so when you go to heidsielandcoaching.com/Believe Retreat, I have the URL there. You can look around, find out about the big event, find out about our weekly program. If you're interested in being a guest because you would like to share ways that we can be productive, creative, and really have it all. Maybe not all at the same time, but have it all. Beth is helping us with those steps. And Beth, you're part of the Believe Retreat community, right? I think you
yes.
posted in there before.
Mhm.
So we just want people to know that yes, we have a community. Maybe you can post some questions in there, and then all of the participants in the community will benefit from Beth's expertise. So we just want to let people know where you can find us, and it was a pleasure, of course, having you here. We're going to go ahead and show. Let's see if I can share what we're doing next week. We have another special guest on the 25th. We have an artist and homeschooling mom from Canada that's going to join us. So every week, we're delightful to have people. And Beth, of course, she's part of that. Uh, Double the pleasure and double the fun with two appearances with us so far.
I think we need another one. Maybe after our break, we have two more episodes left in our first season. We're going to take a couple-week break. When we come back for season two, Beth, will you join us again?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yay!
Thank you so much because creative women should definitely have a powerful social media presence and build community. And you've shared some excellent tips today. The theme of the Believe Retreat is that if you can conceive it, you can therefore believe it and then achieve it. So, thank you for joining us today. And we want to remind you that from the head
To the heart,
To the
and
hand.
to
to the
the
hand.
hands. Yes,
Yes.
You
You
can.
can. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. We have a few seconds to spare, but we appreciate the eyes that are on this page. There's always time for hashtag replay, and we'll see you next week from the Believe community. Thank you so much, everyone. Have
Bye.
a terrific Tuesday.